Okay, shalom, shalom, shalom. Kwam Yasha Allah. Koholoy Malay Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Bahashim Rakahakodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who do rule well, that by the Spirit taught us this beautiful truth. Just want to say the waters for all the H.I.M and Aqua that's out here sincerely keeping the laws, the statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh to the best of their ability. Yahchanan Awaf just coming at you with another quick lesson, praying that it's edifying by the Spirit. And wanted to do an article, Salaki, a lesson on this article right here. This guy's name is Charles Barnes. It says Charles Barnes is charged with violating the federal interstate threat statute and could face up to 5 years in prison. And, we try and let you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans know what your biblical nationality is. You're Hebrew Israelites. We come from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And the reason why we're so downtrodden and we're so hated is because the Lord sent our enemies against us. These people are our enemies. So-called Chinese, the so-called Japanese, the so-called South Koreans, North Koreans, all these different nations, that they're our enemies, man. The Lord sent these people against us, and he actually sent us into slavery to our enemies. And you can never think that these people are ever going to like you. We tell you that all the time. You have to be aware out here. You have to walk circumspectly. Matter of fact, let me get that real quick. You have to be real aware of what you're dealing with out here, because you're dealing with an enemy. You're dealing with a people that hates your fucking guts, man. These people are never going to like you. You can try, you can march, you can do whatever you want to do. You see, the Lord has given us a little bit of relief as far as, they're not able to just come and snatch us out of our homes and, rape us and hang us. We do have a right to protect ourselves if anything were to go down, but still we are under the curses of Deuteronomy chapter 28. So we have to be circumspect as we're walking throughout this land until our Lord comes, because that's who Yahushua is coming for, which the world ignorantly calls Jesus. When you read through the book of Luke chapter 1, it tells you why the Lord is coming. He's coming to get us out of the hands of our enemies. He's not coming to save everyone in the world, because the Lord has enemies, and those enemies are in the book of Psalms chapter 83. Matter of fact, we can grab that, but this is Ephesians 5:15. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. See, these people are riling up, and during Jacob's trouble, the Lord is about to get down out here, man. You see what I'm saying? He's about to get down on the people out here during Jacob's trouble, man. The Lord is about to rile these guys up. They're going to, and these Edomites, that's their biblical nationality, they're about to get busy on you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, because you are the Hebrew Israelites. And Esau has always had that perpetual hatred, and it's not going nowhere. You can march all you want to. This is their kingdom. See, when we start to rule, then we're going to be over them, and they're going to be our subjects like we are their subjects right now. You see? So let's go off into Psalms 83. Let's just get these enemies real quick, and I'll go off into some of this article. Salakia, see the apostle, he's doing another lesson. But let's start from the top here. Psalms 83, chapter 1, it says, a song or a psalm of Asaph. Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yahweh. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult. So as you can clearly see, the Lord, he has enemies. And they that hate thee have lifted up the head. So there are nations out here that hate the Lord. They don't want anything to do with the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. They live by their science. They live by, they actually think that they are gods. That, they can do better than what the Lord has created. That's the reason why they're out here fucking with everything. All in the name of their science and their data and shit. It says, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. Who is the Lord's people? Who are the hidden ones? You so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You Hebrew Israelites. They have taken crafty counsel against you. That's the reason why they're calling you these different names. They set up cigarettes in your damn community. They got a liquor store in every fucking corner. They got drugs on every, in your community. They got your, they promote this wicked ass music for you to be a damn maniac. They promote your women being whores. See, this is what it's because they're in control of the narrative. They're in control of the media. They're in control of the music, the radio stations and what goes forth. And they generally push it towards us to destroy us. It don't destroy these other nations like that. But they're heathens anyway, so they don't give a shit about nothing righteous anyway. But they know that we are the righteous people of Yahweh, his chosen, which that's the true name of the Father, Yahweh, which means that he exists, or the existing one. And the true name of his son, which the world ignorantly calls Jesus, is Yahweh Shai, which means he's the savior or deliverer in Paleo Hebrew. Okay, but it says, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. And that's where you get all these different names that they gave us when they colonized us and enslaved us. Spanish, they call you Hispanics, they call you Dominicans, they call you Latinos, they call you Mexicans, they call you Cubans, they call you, Haitians, Jamaicans, African Americans, black, all these different terms. But those are, bywords. Matter of fact, in Deuteronomy 28, that's one of the curses, that we will be called bywords, that we will be in astonishment, and that we would no longer be called Israel because they have hidden who we are. They don't want you to know that you are Israelites. They don't want you to know about Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6, where the Lord said he chose you, and that, that we will be above all nations that are upon the face of the earth. Because at one point we were, until we started, idol worshiping and following in behind their gods and all these different things, right? Okay, it says, for they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. So when you see a G20 summit meeting, or if you see a World Economic Forum, shit for that matter, if you see any of these United Nations meetings, those are all the heathen nations that's coming together against you. You don't see nobody there to represent you except for the so-called white man. Or, they may have a damn African there, goddamn Hamite, which we're not Hamites, we're Shemites. You know what I'm saying? Everyone with melanin is not African. Everyone with melanin is not the same people. Because there's a whole host of dark nations out here, but all of them are not the same people. But they lump us all together in one damn continent, 2 continents actually, because Africa is a continent and America is a continent. You can't be 2 continents. That's not a nationality. We are Hebrew Israelites. But anyway, let's get these nations. It says the tabernacles of Edom. That's a biblical name for the so-called white man. And the Ishmaelites, that's who you would call the Arabs today, so to speak. It says of Moab. That's the biblical name for the so-called Chinese today. And the Hagarenes, you got Gebal and Ammon and Amalek. Well, Ammon, that's the so-called Japanese today. And Amalek, that's another Edomite tribe, which is the so-called white man, which is the people that's over there in the Holy Land right now, claiming to be the holy people, speaking that German, which they call Hebrew, which is Yiddish, And the Philistines, which with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot, Selah. So you have all these different nations that have come together with one consent. They are confederate against you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Just think about it. I don't care where you go. It can be in Texas. It can be in Boston. It can be in Detroit. It can be Philadelphia. It can be New York. It can be Rhode Island. It can be Connecticut. I don't care where you go. Wherever there are so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans at, they don't own none of the businesses. You have these very same people right here that I just named off that own everything. See? They own the banks. They own your beauty supply store. They own your mechanic shops. They own your restaurants. They own your your salons. They own your you name it. It's just, fruit stand. It don't make no fucking difference. Only thing that you see a so-called black person or somebody, they might own a little restaurant or something here or there, or they could own a little clothing store or a little hair salon, a little something like that. But I'm talking about major businesses that bring in real money. See, these people come to your neighborhoods, they set up shop because it's all orchestrated. See, the so-called white man, he gets the bulk of it because he's the leader. He's the number one nation right here named. He's the very first nation that's read off. The tabernacles of Edom. That's Esau, the Edomites. That's the so-called white man. He's the number one main enemy of the Lord. So what he does is he conquered us, and this is all by by the Lord. The Lord allowed them to do it, but he's the number one culprit in this thing. So he allows his his buddies, so to speak, to come in and, they get the crumbs, so to speak. They get to lick up the rest. They get to lick the wound, so to speak, right? So, but let's go off into this story, because we tell y'all to be very, very careful when you're out in public these days, because Esau, Edom, they're mad because this kingdom is falling. And as this kingdom is falling, these so-called white people, they're feeling the grunt of it, man, and they're feeling it right now. They're not doing as well as they used to, do, and they're mad about it. And they feel like, we're just natural enemies to them anyway. So, when white people get to that point, they'll take it out on their dog. They take it out on their wife. They take it out on anybody that they can, these so-called white men. That's just how they get down. They'll take it out on, anybody that, you know what I'm saying, that's around them. Shit, they don't give a shit. They'll take it out on their own family. But you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, they most definitely gonna take it out on your asses, because, they've always been able to do that, during slavery. But see, now Jake has an opportunity to protect themselves. So-called white people, they come and do the shit that they was doing back in the days. They can get the asses blown away, and the court, system would be on your side, so to speak, to a certain extent. You see what I'm saying? So, but let's get some of this. It says a Maine resident was arrested after he used racial slurs and threatened to kill his black neighbors. Via voicemail, the Department of Justice announced. In an August 2022 incident, Charles Allen Barnes, 47, warned and it's the age, these pretty much the ones too. Them ones from maybe about 35-ish to, because, these other ones, like this newer generation, they love hip hop. They, they want to be like Jake. They love how Jake dunked the basketball. They want to throw the football. Like, they understand. See, they want to be like our people. They can't, So this new generation of so-called white people, they're pretty much lost, or they're not patriotic. They're not down with the process, pretty much, of what they, white people have always conquered us. Now they want to be down. Now they want to be hip. They want to be, hip hop, the hippie to the, how they, they just want to sing like Jake. They want to just be like the Israelites. And now they're kind of standing up and fighting against so-called what their ancestors done. But what they don't know is the Lord is going to punish them right along with the older ones, because pretty much they're that generation back on earth, man, that reincarnation. That's another lesson though. But they're not patriotic like how these old school ones were. See, this guy right here, he's almost 50. He is a part of that generation where his father and his grandfather, you know what I'm saying, they was, them patriots of the U.S. And he's kind of like that last kind of somewhat of that generation of the radicals, I would say. And some of them are still raising their children that way. Don't get me wrong. Some of these people that's this age right here, because you got some younger ones. Don't get me wrong. It's some, some of these wicked ass Edomites, like the guy that was out there in New York that shot up the supermarket in New York last year. I think he was like, maybe about 20, 21 or something. So you got that. Don't get me wrong now. It's some of them that's still out here. But this generation right here, this guy right here, these are the ones that's really the last generation that can actually teach their children to further, their hatred, so to speak. But anyway, let's move on with it. It says in August 2022 incident, Charles Allen Barnes, 47, warned he was outside his black neighbor's residence and planned to kill them as soon as they stepped outside. Prosecutors alleged that Barnes, a Lewiston, Maine resident, targeted the family specifically because of their race. This is why we've been telling y'all, see, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, y'all moving to these people's neighborhoods, and you're the only ones there. They're on the left of you, the right of you, they're across the street from you. You're just the only person in the neighborhood that's outside of their race. They looking at you like they don't fucking like you. So why would you move away from your own people to go and be around your enemy? You know why Jake do that? Because what's the scripture say? Let's get this. Let me get this real quick. Proverbs 3:31. And the plantation. I'm just kind of just doing a lesson real quick while I don't have anything to do. Envy thou not the oppressor. This is Proverbs 3:31. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. See, our people envy the sinner. They envy the wicked. They envy the oppressor. They feel as if they have to do it. Things are not official with them unless the so-called white man has done it and they're being like them. They'll listen to what the so-called white man says, but when it comes to their own people, they like, you know, they want to go and move. If they're not, they don't feel as if they're successful unless they have what the so-called white man has. If they're not living the way that the enemy is living, they don't feel successful. But the scriptures clearly tells you, envy thou not the oppressor. You shouldn't want to, nor be like them. It says, choose none of their ways. All we supposed to be doing is waking up, going to get our daily bread, you know, thanking Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, praising Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, and keeping it moving until our Lord comes and getting us out of this shit. That's all we're supposed to be thinking towards. But here you go, you got our people. They want to move to these people's neighborhoods. They want to get the RV. They want the 2 jet skis. They want the big ass F-350 that you got to climb into with a ladder. You know, they want the lake house. They want to go to Disneyland. They want to go skiing and shit. They want to go surfing and shit. They want to go fucking mountain climbing and shit. When the Lord has told us clearly, don't be like these people. Leave their asses alone. So when shit hits the fans, guess what? They're going to run your ass right back across the track. That's if you can make it. That's if you can get out of there. When things hit the fans, they going to run your ass off. And those tinted kids that you got. Because, you know, a lot of our people, you know, Jake, you know, they marry these so-called white women. They had these kids. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty much overall what they call half-breeds or biracials. Now, if it's a male in the situation that's to marry the so-called white woman and those kids come about, then those are Israelites. But you so-called black women, you marry the so-called white men, those children of yours, those are Edomites. Those are not Israelites. Those are so-called white children. But the tint that they have, that little dark color that they had, that little kinky hair that they had, they're going to run all y'all asses right back towards your own people. Because that's coming. All this grouping up together, all this, we're one people, we all one race, the human race, we all bleed red and all that stupid shit. The Lord is about to get rid of all that. And you're starting to see it too. This is why we tell you, be careful. Go out. If you got to shop, go do your shopping early. Don't be hanging out around these people at night. Because groups of white people, they get a little courage on them when they're in groups. You know, they got numbers. And don't let them have a couple of drinks in them. Oh my. You women, you feeling like you can go out and you just want to I want to go to Denny's at 3 a.m. You see what I'm saying? You just want to go to, you out at fucking Buffalo Wild Wings at 10 o'clock at night. Just you and your home girl, you're just having a drink and you're just, you know, hey, y'all better cut that shit out. And that goes for you men too. You want to hang out at the goddamn the last place I'm going is to a baseball game or a hockey game. I ain't even fucking with the NBA or the NFL games because they outnumber you. You're not living in, and scriptures talks about just because you can do something. Let's see if I can find that. Everything is lawful, but it's not expedient, is the way it kind of words, I think. Oh, this guy right here coming up the block. Bugged out. 1 Corinthians 6:12, it says, all things are lawful unto me, but all things are not expedient. All things are lawful for me, but I will not be brought under the power of any. So you can do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? All things are lawful, but is it wise? It's that word expedient. Let's go off into this word expedient real quick. Yeah, this dude right here is a bug out coming up the street. He just out here. That's it. Early as hell. He out here drunker than a motherfucker. Anyway, let's see. Damn, where is it? I lost it that quick. Slovakia. It's 6:12 Slovakia. I know what just happened. Yeah, bro, out here already drunk. Yeah, man, it is what it is. Expedient. Let's get this word expedient. To bear or bring together, to bear together, or at the same time to carry with others, to collect or contribute in order to help, be profitable. That's pretty much what it's going into. Everything is not profitable to you. Everything is not good for you. You see? Of course you can move to the so-called white man's neighborhood if you can afford it, but is it expedient? Is it profitable? And you know, I mean, generally when you go to these neighborhoods, you know, Jake, they just want to, some Jake, they just want good for their children. I get all that. You know, they want to, the children to grow up in, better neighborhood where they won't fucking get shot. They won't, least likely to get caught up on drugs. But what they don't know is, hell, Esau, they the ones that's, them kids that they growing up and hanging out with, going to school with, they on worse drugs than Jake in the hood, pretty much. You see what I'm saying? But anyway, I get them wanting to try and do better, but what they don't understand is we are under the curses of Deuteronomy chapter 28, and you're not about to escape those curses. I don't give a shit what you do. You can go to the best schools in America. You can become a person that's on this high level. You six-figure salary and all that other shit. That shit not gonna make no difference. That don't make no difference to the Lord, man. Your ass still under them curses. You're not escaping these curses. You can move out of the country. I don't care where you go. If you're an Israelite, by the Spirit, your ass is going through those curses, man. Anyway, let's go back. This dude, man, hey, this shit is crazy, though. This person, he says, waiting for someone to step outside. And the first one who does is going to die. Damn, just like that, he said, according to the September 12th indictment. I don't care if it's her kid or her boyfriend. So obviously, she probably done had a little, you see how they're saying her, probably done had a little conversation with the so-called black woman. She probably done said some shit all out of the way. You see? Because notice who they're focused on. It says, I don't care if it's her kid or her boyfriend. So that means that his real hatred is towards the so-called black woman. And ain't no telling what she said. Like I said, you know what I'm saying? Eve, man. Eve is unbearable. Eve is hard to get along with, man. Our women are destroyers, man. And they're just pretty much, you know what I'm saying? They like Satan. Esau is the physical counterpart of Satan. And in Eve, the so-called black woman is like the physical counterpart of the so-called white man. Because he set them up on a pedestal. And now Eve is out of control. Eve done surpassed the so-called white man. And the scriptures talks about a woman compassing a man. The Lord would do a new thing in the earth. And ain't no telling, she probably cussed his ass out. Because you can see he looks like a goddamn weirdo. Ain't no telling what she said to his ass. Anyway, he's pissed because he's talking about he don't give a fuck if it's her kid, or her boyfriend. Barnes then allegedly used a racial slur to communicate that he wanted to kill anyone who was black. See, we tell y'all, man, if you go into Walmart, if you see so-called white people in general, fucking be aware. You need to be, antennas need to go up. I don't give a fuck what I don't care if you see a white baby in a stroller. If you come across an old ass elder, don't give a shit if he in his 90s. You should be afraid of that motherfucker. You should be looking at him like, and getting the fuck away like he's a goddamn disease, or like it's a damn lion in the street, man. Don't take no chances with none of these people, man. Cause you see what happened down there in Jackson. The guy shot up the General Dollar store and killed he came out there with the intents of killing niggas. So we telling y'all, man, we trying to warn y'all, beware of this man, because they have a perpetual hatred towards you. It says Barnes is charged with violating the federal interstate threats statute and could face up to 5 years in prison. On Facebook, Barnes said his life has been hell since his arrest. Also because people done found out. He could have had a drunk ass rant or something. Between consistent tampering with my car, people have been fucking with his car, harassment from a few customers, eviction, death threats, so you done lost your place to stay and everything because your ass fucking stupid, man. But hey, at least, we're starting to see, because see, Esau is starting to tell on himself. See, Esau, he's showing you. Let's get that Psalms 64 and 8. He's telling you who he is. See, the Lord is starting to reveal this man. That's that 2 Thessalonians 2 and verse 3 and 4. Basically, where the Lord, the man of sin, that son of perdition, is being revealed. See, the so-called white man, he's showing you he's the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan on this damn planet. Everything this man touches and everything that he does is wicked, man. And it's destructive as hell. Psalm 64 and 8. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. So they're making their own. See, that type of hatred that's coming out of him, that's him telling on them, man. They're telling on each other. They're telling on themselves. People are starting to see, okay, yeah, this systematic racism shit that they've been talking about, this shit is real. But you got stupid ass Jake that's out here, oh man, America, and they actually be saying, America's not racist. The hell out of here, man. These people don't like you. As a matter of fact, let's just grab a couple more precepts real quick. Let's start off first off with this Deuteronomy, chapter 28, like 28 and verse 68. And it says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. And that word Egypt goes off into the word, basically it goes off into the house of bondage, which is a house of slavery. Again with ships. How do we get here? On damn ships. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. See, who was we sold to? When we was on them goddamn auction blocks. That was your first stock in America. And when it says, and no man shall buy you, that just means that in the Hebrew, you have to understand words. You have to go up into the Hebrew because it's, if somebody is being sold, of course, somebody is buying. So you have to go up into the word of that, and no man shall buy you. It just means that no one will get you out of that. No one will redeem you. See, we're waiting on our Lord to redeem us. He's going to get us out of this. See, you had all your Martin Luther Kings, your Nat Turners, your Malcolm X's, and all these different leaders that tried to do some shit. They came up and bucked up, but basically what they was doing was they bucked up against the Lord. They was going against the will of the Lord. Because see, these so-called white people, the Lord placed them over us. And you trying to get out of their hands before the Lord is sanctioning it, then you're coming up against the Lord. That's pretty much what's happening there. So the Lord he's clearly saying that we will be sold to our enemies. So these people are not your fucking friends. Right? Let's get Ezekiel real quick, 35 and 5. It says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred. And this is talking about you so-called white people right here. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, like an ongoing hatred, and it's not going to stop. And hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, and the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, says the Lord God, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. So this is coming for you so-called white people. See, you've done a lot of treachery towards us as a people over these past 500 damn years. Here you go, it's 2023 going into 2024, and you got motherfuckers still thinking like this, man. And you Negroes, you running out, you voting Democrat, you thinking that, man, look, if it's a so-called white man, woman, or child, they're going to have that perpetual hatred towards you. Now, you might say, not all of them like that. I don't give a fuck which ones. All I know is I'm not taking the chance of finding out which ones do or don't. I'm listening to the Lord. He says to never trust thine enemy. That's a commandment from the Lord. He says, take good heed and beware of this man. Those are commandments from the Lord. Because any of them are capable of anything, man. No, we're not taking the chance. But let's get this right here. This right here is another example right here of back in the days, ancient times, when we was coming out of Egypt. Now, you think that a brother, say for instance, you got a brother or a sister or somebody, an uncle or somebody coming home from jail. They've been in prison, you know what I'm saying, for, 15, 20 years, whatever. And they just like, all right, well, you got, matter of fact, you got all the resources in the world to help him out once he gets out. You got an extra house, you got a guest house, You got all these things. You got apartment buildings and shit. You got all kinds of stuff. He's just trying to get on his feet. And you like, nah, man, And then you come over here, I'm shooting, I'm breaking out the gun, I'm a bust at your ass. Now check it out. This is Esau right here. This is Numbers chapter 20. Let's start at like let me see. Let's start at verse 14. As a matter of fact, I probably can read it in the NLT. Let's read it in the NLT. Let's read it in the New Living Translation. Now check out Esau. This is how Esau felt about you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, which are your brethren. Now Esau and Jacob were brothers, right? Check out how he get down on his family, man, on his brothers, man. Verse 14. While Moses was at Kadesh, he sent ambassadors to the king of Edom with this message. This is what your relatives, see, the people of Israel, say. So they were relatives. Of course, Jacob and Esau basically were, not identical twins, but they were twins, right? It says, our ancestors went down to Egypt and we lived there a long time. And we and our ancestors were brutally mistreated by the Egyptians. But when we cried out to the Lord, he heard us and sent an angel who brought us out of Egypt. Now we are camped at Kadesh, a town on the border of your land. So this is basically, a brother coming to another brother and like, hey, we're on the border of your land now. Basically, he's going to ask for permission to come through there. It says, please let us travel through your land. We will be careful not to go through your fields and vineyards. We won't even drink water from your wells. We will stay on the king's road and never leave it until we have passed through your territory. Check out what the so-called white man said. But the king of Edom said, stay out of my land, or I will meet you with an army. See that? That's wicked, man. He should have been like, well, damn, you know what I'm saying? I heard about y'all was there. Matter of fact, he should have went there to try and get the children of Israel out. Man, look, let my brothers go, man. We're going to come to war against them. Nope, none of that. But even once the Lord allowed us to go and get out of there, he couldn't even say, well, hey, man, look, we're going to help you out. Look, those fields, don't worry about it. We'll handle that. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and eat what you need to eat. Those wells, don't worry about it. You need water to drink. Water your cattle and do this, that, and the third. Water yourselves, No, this motherfucker said, I'm going to come against you with an army. So that lets you know the perpetual hatred that they have for us. Verse 19. It says, the Israelites answered, we will stay on the main road. If our livestock drink your water, we will pay for it. Just let us pass through your country. That's all we ask. So they're willing to pay for the water. They're willing to pay for what it is that they need. It says, but the king of Edom replied, stay out. You may not pass through our land. With that, he mobilized his army and marched out against them with an imposing force. Because Edom refused to allow Israel to pass through their country, Israel was forced to turn around. The whole community of Israel left Kadesh and arrived at Mount Hor. So, hey, I mean, it is what it is, man. So Esau has always come up against us. And not only has he always come up against us, he has always helped the enemies that have come up against us. His own brother, man. So the Lord got a payback for you Edomites, man. And you can read that in the book of Obadiah. And there's plenty of other chapters and verses that, you can get where the Lord is going to get at y'all real nice, man. Because you're going to be paid back for what you've done to the children of Israel. Now you have us in your hands. Now you've enslaved us. You worked the shit out of us. You done brutally murdered us. You've done all these different things to us. Now the Lord is about to start repaying y'all, man. You're starting to reap those curses. You see, you're starting to reap what you've sown. And that's the reason why this man is so angry. Why is he so angry? Because he's starting to see what their forefathers stole. And he's back. He's one of his forefathers. Back in reincarnation. Like I said, that's another lesson. But he's back and he's seeing that it's not going well for them. So what's he doing? He's mad. He's going to try and come up against you, Jake, man. That's why we tell y'all, be careful when you around them. And don't be around them for long. Just go and handle your business. You got to go and work around them, go to work. Get the fuck away from them as soon as you clock out. You got to stop at Walmart. You got to stop at Target. You got to stop from somewhere to get something. You got to stop, pay a bill, whatever. You got to stop at the ATM, the bank, whatever. Man, do that shit and go ahead and get the fuck away from this man, because he's a vicious man. As a matter of fact, let's get Genesis 27. Check out what he said right here. This goes back even further, even further. And this was just after the fight in the belly, which I can get that. I can end out with that. But this is Genesis 27. Let's start at verse 40, I think, or so. 40 or 41. Oh yeah, we can start at 40, because this is the blessing that Isaac blessed him with. Esau, Edom, the sword, man. That's the reason why their military might is so cold. They perfected weaponry. Esau would turn your woman into a weapon against you, which he has. He has turned the so-called black woman into a weapon against us. He has turned our children into weapons against us. This man can turn your water into a weapon, your food into a weapon. He has perfected weaponry, man. Verse 40, it says, and by thy sword, now this is the blessing that Isaac blessed Esau with. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand, then I will slay my brother Jacob. So he was waiting on Isaac to pass away so he could kill Jacob, because of that blessing, first off, and that birthright that we have. So the thing of it is see, this is his kingdom, and as his kingdom is dwindling and falling, the Israelites are coming up. So the new kingdom, when the Lord comes, they're going to be subjects under us. And the elite of them know that. That's the reason why they're trying so hard for their new world order, man. That new world reset. They want to put an RFID chip in your ass, man. And perpetually enslave you. See, that's their next step. Because, see, they're fighting real hard to get that blessing and that birthright back. But let me just get one more. Let's go back to Genesis 25 when it was born. It started like start at verse 21. It says, and Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren. And the Lord, Yahweh, was entreated of him, and Rebekah, his wife, conceived. So she got pregnant because she couldn't have children before. It says, and the children struggled together within her womb, within her. So this struggle, this fight has always been going on, even from babies in the belly, man. This fight has been going on. Esau has always had this perpetual hatred towards us, man. It says, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of Yahweh. And Yahweh said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. So it was already prophesied that Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, which is the oldest, because he's the oldest, he should have got the inheritance, but he sold his birthright, right? Him being the oldest, he should have got the best of the blessing. But we got all that, and that's the reason why Esau hates us to this very day. See, the average so-called white people, they don't know why. But it's a spiritual thing. It's just that when they see us, it's just like, you've never seen this motherfucker in your life. You don't know nothing about him. You can actually help him probably prosper. You can actually help him in so many different ways. But he don't know why he hates you. He just hates you. He hates seeing you. He hates the thought of you. And see, the Lord created it that way. The Lord made it that way, because it clearly says right here that we're 2 manner of people. We're 2 separate nations. We have 2 separate spirits. We have 2 separate mindsets about thinking and doing things. The Lord, he created a spirit within us to be righteous towards him. We have the Lord's spirit. You see? But a lot of our people have gotten caught up with Esau. And I mean, it's like I said, it's all prophetic. Everything is going to play out the way that the Lord wanted to play out. But the Lord wrote this script this way, and it's nothing that nobody can do about it. See, this man is going to hate you all the way to the end, because that's the way that the Lord made it. He wrote it that way. This movie was written that way. You can't just go and tell the director, no, we're not going to do that way. We're going to, I don't want to be the extra in the background. I want to be the star. You can't tell the co-star, you're not the co-star anymore. I'm going to bring my cousin in. He's going to play your part. No, it don't work like that, man. This movie is already written. It's already played. It's already, you know what I'm saying? Everything is going according to plan, so to speak. So Esau is going to hate you. But we have to do these lessons to let our people know and to warn the flock. Because we're telling you right now, with this atmosphere of this new voting shit coming up with Trump and Biden and your January 6th clowns, you're starting to see a change in the earth where people are going to start to come up against people. And it's mainly the main two stars of this movie, which are you Israelites, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and the so-called white man, which are the Edomites. Those other nations, they're going to play their little role too. You see? But things are coming into play where you got World War III already popping pretty much, and the MOTB, which we call the mark of the beauty and the beast, that Revelation 13 and 16. See, this so-called white man, he's about to try and enslave every goddamn body, not just us. So see, these other nations are catching on like, man, well, this man is about to enslave his own people. As a matter of fact, they're already slaves. They don't even understand that shit. They're just stupid as hell. This man has already enslaved his own people. So he's gonna, get down on you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You just give it a moment, man. You wait and give it a month or so when this cold weather start to kick in and see how he try and promote this, you putting that damn diaper back on your face and rolling up your sleeve. You just never know what he's gonna do, man. This man is a vicious character in this movie. Straight up, man. So I just wanted to touch on this. Be careful. Going about these people and being around these people, and when you see them and they looking out of place, man, hey, you beware of this motherfucker, man. Straight up. So, I just wanted to just touch on that, man. So with that, I pray that the lesson was edifying. Kwam Yashala.